Have you ever had a love interest crash your girls' weekend and then it ends up telling you everything you needed to know about them? Strangely enough, I have. Yeah, it was, well, you know what? Just stay tuned and I'll tell you all about it. Hello, I'm Kelly Shanley, stand-up comic who spent 10 years on the dating apps in LA. And these are my stories. Welcome to the Dating is Nuts podcast. This is episode 213, my accidental group date with Carter, the guy who crashed girls' weekend. If you missed my last date with Carter, check out episode 208 to catch up. If you need to start from the beginning, go to episode 201 and eventually I will see you back here. Oh, and don't forget to check out our Patreon. If you like the show, you can sign up to give financial support for just $7 a month. Think of it as just buying me one overpriced oat milk latte in order to help keep the creative juices flowing. Check out the link in the show notes to become an OG Lover Nutter today. Okay, back to the episode. Carter and I had our next date at his house again. Did I wish we could go out to a restaurant so I could see how he treated the waiter and how well he tipped? Of course I did. Could we do that? No. Lockdown. It was like dating in a vacuum. I had to completely trust my own instincts. It was terrifying. When I arrived, Carter looked like a little kid with a secret that he couldn't wait to blurt out. I extended my stay. I'll be here through the end of the week. Isn't that great? Oh. He wanted me to be as excited as he was, but I just couldn't muster it. All I could think was, is he doing this because of me? Which, yes, I am aware, should have made me feel special. But instead, it made me feel anxious. I told him I was great, but that I had a friend coming up, so I wouldn't be able to hang out with him very much over the weekend. He backpedaled a bit and made his visit more about him exploring the possibility of moving his business up here and less about hanging out with me. That took a little pressure off and allowed me to relax. Was it neurotic of me to feel spooked when a perfectly good man wanted to spend more time with me? Perhaps. Was I aware of that? Yes. Did that make a difference? No. We made pasta, sipped wine, and chatted. And this time the conversation flowed much more naturally than the previous date. After dinner, we watched a movie and snuggled on the couch. We even made out like teenagers for a little bit. Carter would stare deep into my eyes every time he came up for air, which I should have liked, but I just wasn't getting all tingly like I wanted to, you know? So once again, I declined his invitation to spend the night. I wanted to feel as excited about this man as he clearly felt about me, and I just couldn't understand why I didn't. The next day, my friend Steph arrived, and I was so excited to show her around. I took her to Emerald Bay, one of my go-to sightseeing spots for newcomers to Lake Tahoe. And Carter texted me, wanting to hang out. I reminded him that I had a friend in town, and I was busy the next few days. He glossed right past that and asked me to come hang out with him at the river anyway. I told him no. How about a beer later? I told him no again. Dinner? I told him gently yet firmly that I had plans with my friend all day and was not available to hang out with him. I didn't want him to think I was blowing him off for good, though, so I invited him to come hang out over the weekend. Steph and I were planning to tie some inner tubes to a fallen tree and just float in the river while we drank Trulies and gossiped. You know, grown-ass woman stuff. I figured he could stop by for a drink, and then I could see what Steph, my sister, and my mom thought about him. Carter arrived early on Saturday, enthusiastic, and chatted with my mom while Steph and I applied SPF 30 and hats and sunglasses, you know, other grown-ass woman things. He got along pretty well with everyone, save for a few minor hiccups. He made a couple comments that were pretty offensive, and I couldn't tell if he was being serious or not. Don't get me wrong. We kid around my house almost as much as we breathe, okay? And we understand the jokes are jokes. But there were a couple of his not jokes that really threw us off. After a particularly snobby quip about someone not having their GED, I asked him, "Wait, did you really say that to someone at the grocery store?" He smiled proudly. "Yeah, of course I did." Cue awkward silence. I thought Carter would leave after a quick stop-in, but he didn't. He came down to the river with us and parked himself in a chair with no intent to leave. Even while Steph and I floated on our rafts. I mean, we didn't have one for him because we didn't expect him to be there. He sat on the riverbank reading a book. He brought a damn book. Clearly, he planned on staying a while. Steph and I ended up getting pretty day drunk. I think I wanted to test the snobby parts of him that he'd exposed earlier in the day. You know, like, I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to show you my ridiculous side and see if you still like me. Perhaps subconsciously trying to drive him away. I don't know. After multiple Trulies, I was feeling warm and fuzzy and pretty damn tipsy. I danced like a Peanuts character. I tried on dresses that my aunt had given me over my clothes. I don't know. And I broke out into song more than once, with Steph dancing on one side and my mom dancing on the other, and my sister watching us from the safety of the couch. Just laughing at us, but not participating in the terrible drunken dancing. Carter seemed unfazed. Apparently, he found drunk me adorable. He stayed literally all day, through dinner, and well into the night. I didn't expect to have to ask him to leave, but by the time 10 p.m. rolled around and I wanted to pass out in my bed alone, I told him it was time to go home, and I walked him out to his motorcycle. He reminded me of my standing invite to come visit him in the Bay Area. Oh, I'd forgotten about that. I thought it was just something he said to be polite and like smooth over the awkwardness of a first date goodbye, you know? Like, was he serious? I've got lots of plans for us. I want to show you my property and cook you dinner. Oh, will you eat bacon if it's on Brussels sprouts? I know you're vegan, but it's a family recipe. Oh, and then we can go stargazing. The sky on my property is amazing at night. And you can meet my folks. And oh my God. He is serious. He is very serious. He really wanted me to come visit him and spend the night. Multiple nights. I couldn't picture it. I just didn't feel comfortable. Like, that felt like a much bigger step than I was ready for. I mean, sure, he had just spent the whole day with my mom and sister, but that was an accident. I was only trying to be nice because he wouldn't stop asking to hang out. I hadn't meant to move things to the next level. Is that what happened? In my mind, the only reason he met my mom and sister is because we were all staying together during lockdown. Otherwise, I never would have introduced them to him that early on. It was like week 2. The next morning, I was up early at 7 a.m. and I got a text from Carter. Damn, already? He had forgotten his swim trunks at my place and wanted to swing by to pick them up. I was outside doing yoga on the deck when I saw him walking down the driveway, helmet under his arm, smiling at me the way I've always wanted to be smiled at by a handsome man who's into me. But once again, it made me feel anxious, like I couldn't match his energy or give him what he wanted. I greeted him with as much enthusiasm as I could muster, and I handed him his swim trunks. I made sure that he knew I had paused my yoga workout to greet him, that I was very much in the middle of something, and that everyone else was still sleeping. He took the hint and didn't try to stay. Whew, I felt relieved when he left. Oh no, not again. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review, subscribe, and tell your friends. Seriously, if you thought of anyone during this episode, I don't know, maybe someone who would actually crash a girls' weekend, or someone who wouldn't know how to ask them to leave said girls' weekend, the best thing you can do is share this with them. Obviously, it helps me when you share it, but I genuinely hope that it helps you too, to feel a little less alone on your chaotic dating journey. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and be sure to tune in to the next episode where we will get up close and personal with Dex. I'm still Kelly Shanley, and I will see you next time, Lover Nutters. If you like the show, you can become... It took a little pressure off and allowed me to relax. Did that make a difference? Fucking sirens. Don't get me wrong, we kid around. I greeted him with as much enthusiasm as I could and handed him his swim trunks. Thank you so much for watching and listening. And be sure to tune in